Okay, my AC is cranked, and I just torpedoed a foot-long steak sub, so let's get into it. Why I only play old games by Angelikatosh, I believe is how you would say that. So, I saw this video going around about a year ago. September 1st of 2024. So almost 2 years ago now, actually. And, as you can see, Asmongold reacted to it. But I haven't seen it. The topic, however, is incredibly relevant to my interest. I just noticed. Look at this. Oh, my cursor's not captured. I just noticed. She's got the Bliss background. And I've got the Bliss background. And it's almost... Wait, can I line that up? Yeah! Fantastic. Not intended, by the way. If you've seen my other videos, you know that this is my standard React frame. I kind of want to do something different. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, though. I like having the windows set up. I feel like it communicates the vibe. Anyway, enough yapping. Let's start.
Hey guys, do you ever just wanna...
Yes! Yes!
Or even... Because I do, like, all the time. The truth is, I haven't been excited about a new release for a very long time. The last new game that I was really anticipating would have been like Outlast Trials or the anniversary edition of Beyond Good and Evil, a game which
I've never played that. By the I have that on PS2, but I've never actually played it. I have a bunch of PS2 games that I haven't played. Future stream content, stay tuned.
And even that I was anticipating with caution because, you know, it is Ubisoft and nobody wants to see their favorite game ruined. When I have spare time, when I want to chill and just immerse myself in a different world, I go for games that are like 20 years old or somewhere around that. If you watch my channel at all, you know that I'm somebody that appreciates the finer details in games. I really love worlds that feel alive, eccentric characters, cozy environments. I like beautiful things like art, and of course,
I'll say it. The Oblivion remake did a lot of good, and I put some time into it. But it didn't feel right. I don't know how else to describe it. Maybe it was just me. Maybe there's something wrong with my head. Very possible. But it didn't... It felt like something was missing from in here. You know? It felt like there was some slice of the soul of it that was gone, and I cannot explain why. Or maybe what I was feeling was just the immense amount of disk space that was gone when I fucking installed it, because holy lord, how many hundreds of gigabytes was that game?
Favorite, I like clothing and accessories. More and more I'm finding that modern games have nothing to offer me, and I do want to preface this by saying that this is strictly my opinion, but you know, you would think that with the technology...
That's my opinion! That's a good meme.
That we have now, all of those things that I mentioned earlier could be improved upon tenfold.
Companion hole, hell yeah.
In bland worlds, sometimes a lecture in politics, and the erasure of femininity in gaming. The last point in particular is something that
don't make me look at that Concord creature again.
Because in the industry's attempt to become more inclusive and conscious of the issues that women deal with when it comes...
Paul Tassi, we meet again. Why is it... I won't say it's always him, but it's often him. I feel like I see that guy reporting on this kind of stuff a lot. And very seldom does he have a good take, I'm gonna be honest.
When it comes to depictions in media, they've actually gone and made femininity inherently evil and sexual.
How Genshin over-sexualizes female characters. Listen, I don't play Genshin. I'm not a gacha guy, right? I know, fake VTuber. Psst, whatever. How many It doesn't Genshin pull in like $1 billion a year? Clearly they're doing something right. Something predatory, maybe. That's a discussion that could be had, but doing something right. Because it's, oh, I'm over-sexualized. Clearly the players don't mind. Maybe that's who you should be keeping in your noggin when you're designing and developing these games. Huh? Huh? Just a thought. Just whip that around your noodle for a little bit.
Through different companies' actions, we're being shown that...
That doesn't even look like the same person. Are we serious? She looks like she's aged about 30 years. Okay, maybe not 30, but 20. That is rough.
Beauty and beautiful women have no space in gaming. That they're just...
I am pausing so much. I apologize. I'm gonna let... I feel like I haven't even been processing what she's been saying, so I'll go back in a second. This bullshit hits different with the recent news that came out where apparently the state of California and the whole thing with Blizzard could not substantiate or find significant evidence, or indeed any evidence, apparently, to substantiate or confirm all of the accusations that were leveled, and apparently it is entirely possible that the whole thing was just manufactured bullshit to try and strong-arm Blizzard into changing their hiring practices. And now we have Khadgar in a wheelchair. But that's a topic for another time. Alright. I'm gonna let her speak and not... I mean, I know that's the point of a react, is to react, but, you know. Okay.
To see, because in the industry's attempt to become more inclusive and conscious of the issues that women deal with when it comes to depictions in media, they've actually gone and made femininity inherently evil and sexualized. Through different companies' actions, we're being shown that beauty and beautiful women have no space in modern gaming. That they're just
fruit.
too
Unbelievable.
much. Aside from that, their portrayal of what it means to be a strong woman suggests that we need to be able to physically overpower our male...
Rings of Power. Who's excited for that third season, huh? I can tell you, I'm excited. Not because I'm gonna watch it, because I'm gonna get to watch Disparu lose his mind for a third season in a row. Somebody give that man a second season of She-Hulk so he can finally be free from this mortal coil and stop punishing himself.
Opponents. The greatest example of this for me is Abby from The Last of Us 2, who is not only the least relatable female protagonist I've seen in like any game ever, she's also said to be extremely unlikable from the start for what she does to our beloved Joel. The game tries its best to make you sympathize with her by telling her part
Neil
of the story,
Druckmann could
but
love.
the combination of her unrealistic build and her actions throughout the game just make me resent her. And yes, it is an unrealistic build. I'm sorry, but we are in a post-apocalyptic world. Even if she did have access to like top-of-the-line gym equipment in her commune, I doubt that they could ration enough greens and protein for her meal prep to allow her enough time to even get close to that physique. You would need some post-apocalyptic steroids, which sets an unhealthy standard, by the way, to make it make sense. But no, the industry thinks I'm an idiot because I'm supposed to say, oh, great, a strong woman, because there's nothing other than huge muscular arms that could mean a strong woman. Going back to an old game,
You know what I was talking about the other day about how my model can't display, like, cringe or abject disgust? Yeah. You're just gonna have to rely on the audio cues of me, like... that. You're gonna have to listen for it. You're not necessarily gonna see it. Neil Druckmann has a lot to answer for. And... you know what? I think part of the issue is that millennial writers, they think that what they are doing, they think they are writing characters like, who's a good example? Vasquez from Aliens, right? Like, hold on. Like, peep that, right? she is meant to be in the military. And I feel like I think her arms are a little bit smaller. Granted, Abby's in more of a flexing pose here. But this is like a military woman. And here's the thing, right? She was similar to this archetype that you see around these days, but also in a way that, at least to me, I feel like it was done better. Like that one scene where it's like, what are they in the locker room, and one of the guys asks like, "Hey Vasquez, you ever been mistaken for a man?" And I think she's doing pull-ups at the time, or like something like that. And she's like, or she's lifting weights. I forget which. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. But yeah, he's like, "Hey Vasquez, you ever been mistaken for a man?" And she's like, "No, have you?" Like, that's funny. That's funny. I don't know. It hits different coming from a movie that was like, when was Aliens? Like 1986. A character like this can be done, right? You might not like the archetype, but I think it's an archetype that can be done in a way that makes sense, that isn't like overdone. And the thing about Vasquez, right, is like, I don't recall there ever being a moment where it's like, oh wow, look at her, she's better than all the guys. No, it's like, she's one of the guys. And, you know, you can tell that she's worked to be on the same level as them, or like roughly comparable, right? But again, this is a woman who's in like a futuristic military, and like Angelika pointed out, Abby's in the fucking post-apocalypse. Like, what are we doing? And circling back to what I was saying, I feel like millennial writers who, you know, have seen maybe this kind of older stuff, like similar to like Aliens and stuff like that, because, like, you know, that's another thing, that whole franchise, or at least, you know, people don't want to talk about the third movie, it happened, but like, you know, that's the first two movies at least were spearheaded. They had a female protagonist. Ripley was the protagonist. And I don't think you hear a lot of people being like, oh my god, DEI, oh my god, like, oh, girl boss Ripley. Like, no, it's well done. And I think that these millennial writers look back and they see this stuff, but then they create it again through their modern lens, and they think they're doing the same thing, but they are not. And they don't understand why Abby isn't being received like Vasquez. You feel me?
Huge muscular arms, that could mean a strong woman. Going back to an old game, I'll compare Abby to Jade from Beyond Good and Evil. Now, this game originally came out in 2003, and the protagonist is actually more of a tomboy, but she's still very charming, and the game encourages you to find ways other than physical fighting to progress. It has great stealth.
Why the long face, buddy?
She's brave, she wants to expose her government for their evil doings, just a very likable character and someone that you could root for. She looks pretty and somehow is in no way sexualized. Weird that they could do that, right? Speaking of unlikable characters, let's talk about Concord.
Oh,
Aside from the fact that none of the characters are appealing in any way, and I do mean male or female, they're also just
not John
Concord. There is no personality to them, no depth. Nothing that would inspire me to, I don't know, want to cosplay them, for example. I mean, half of them look like they're a rip-off of something that already exists. Sindel from Mortal Kombat has certainly seen better days. You compare these to heroes from other hero shooters, even the free-to-play ones, and you can see that there's a massive difference. Like, these are beloved characters. People have cosplayed these. You know, they're memorable. People that haven't even played the games.
I mean, part of the reason people cosplay the TF2 characters is because it's relatively easy. I feel like I cosplayed Scout once. I mean, I wouldn't even call it a cosplay. It was really more like a Halloween costume, but because it was Halloween. So, but yeah, like I dressed up as Scout once, and that was wicked easy to do for a multitude of reasons. I already had the baseball bat.
And would likely know them by name as well. Whereas Concord's heroes are at best like 800 V-Bucks Fortnite skins. And you know what? Even Fortnite skins have more personality than what they've created here. We know by now that when something like this gets any sort of criticism, the industry will tell you that it doesn't matter because it's the opinion of straight.
It has given power to a toxic subculture of straight, white, male gamers. Subculture. That is the culture. Who feel the industry is theirs and only they should be catered to. We're not saying only, but yes, you are treading on our indigenous land. While attempts to include LGBT+, oh, you forgot a few letters, that's not very woke of you. Female or BAME representation are often seen as agenda-driven attempts to oust them altogether. Well, first of all, it's because they're poorly written and you're not doing a very good job of it, and you're also making your intention to do that perfectly clear. And second, what the fuck is BAME? Black... African... Middle Eastern? I bet you I'm right. Hold on. Ah! So close. BAME stands for Black, Asian, and Minority Ethnic. Oh, it's mostly used in the United Kingdom. Okay, I was gonna say. It's meant to be entirely capitalized, but whatever. I guess this must be from a UK outlet.
Men, so it doesn't count. Which, by the way, great job ignoring and vilifying, like, a huge chunk of...
Thank you. Thank you! Majority of gamers are 55 male, 55%. By the way, you gotta peek into that data a little more, because that 45% of female gamers, I believe that the most recent data about that was based on a study where if you actually look at the breakdown, you only had to game for, I think it was something like 3 hours a week to be considered a gamer, which would make my mom a gamer because she plays a jigsaw puzzle app on her phone. Like, every single bored wine mom who plays Candy Crush would count in that statistic. I feel like it's overstated. I'm not saying it's not possible, especially if you get into certain spaces, like Final Fantasy XIV, shit ton of female players. Quite a large amount of female players in that game. Disproportionate to a lot of online games. When I played WoW Classic, not original, but like the re-release in 2019 or whenever it was, my 40-man raid team had, I believe... yeah. 2 women. 2 women. They were both moms, and they were both healing priests. So, even 15 years later, we were still pretty much sticking true to the, you know, archetype of a raiding guild back then. Because I feel like that was pretty common. It's like you would have, like, 1 or 2, like, token women in your 40-man raid group, and they were most likely going to be a healer. So, but yeah, all I'm saying is take that number with a grain of salt. Like, take that percentage split with a grain of salt. And when you look at the demographics, it was like done by genre as well. Stuff like shooters, which I don't know if that was including stuff like Fortnite. I don't entirely remember how they divided it, but that was still something like 90+% male. So then when you create something like, oh, I don't know, Concord or Marathon, you know, these other kinds of live service shooter games that have been coming out where it's like, who are you designing this for? And it falls on its face. because they think that they're, you know, they're going for the other 45%, but that 45% is not there. I got a lot to say about all this. We are only 4 minutes in. I've been recording for like 20 minutes.
Your audience. However, when I as a woman express my opinions and say that I don't like it, I explain the issues that I have with it, I will be told that I'm just being a pick-me girl, pandering to the men that don't like it. Give me a break. A dragon break. You're telling me straight up that a woman is incapable of coming to that conclusion on her own without men telling her that that is the way. You know what they call that? So yeah, instead of arguing with you and getting called a talentless freak,
Wait. Oh, I vaguely remember this. I don't really care. It was a huge labor from a lot of insanely talented people making an awesome game. I think this was about Concord. Why would I care about a bunch of talentless freaks hating on it? I'm sure having fun playing it and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Don't get into stocks or anything, because boy howdy, your choice of trading and, you know, when to let go of something and when to trade something, not great.
Quote from Concord developer, I'm just gonna go and create a new Minecraft world. So as I have said, beautiful women in gaming seem to be an absolute no-go nowadays. And we see this in the new Star Wars Outlaws. It feels like the developers literally went out of their way to diminish this character's looks, especially when you compare her to her face model. Like they...
How do you do this? How do you do this? She looks like an action figure that got put in a microwave. It has to be intentional. We have facial capture that is so good these days. There is, and especially when you've got the money behind you of some, like a property as big as Star Wars, there is no excuse for this.
They really did her dirty, and in their attempt to make this character less attractive, I actually think that they made her look not human. People don't look like that. Of course, the game is currently receiving backlash for a lot of other things, mainly how it feels so unfinished and broken, but
I kind of remember hearing about this.
It's also the fact that developers are held to these quotas at all, so they were, quote, pushing for a black or female lead in a Star Wars game. Now, what this tells me is that the character and the story don't matter as much as their identity. So this is why we're no longer getting well-written and actually interesting, strong female leads in games. Women have become a box that needs to be checked. We can sort of see this in the kind of criticism that games that go against the current are receiving as well, like Black Myth Wukong. An issue that some reviewer had was that they didn't come across any female characters in the beginning of the game.
Skill issue.
Now, there are female characters in Wukong, but if you don't meet them straight away, that is bad for some reason. We're not letting developers tell a story how they want to tell it.
So the journalist basically just outed himself as like not having been able to get that far.
How it's meant to be told. We need to dictate how they're telling these stories so that they will fit our standards. In the year 2000, 24 years ago, Diablo 2 came out. Now this was years before we had any of these new ideas and standards. The game's opening act centers around the women who were forced to leave a monastery because of the Demon Queen and Daryl. These women are warriors themselves, or rogues, perfectly capable of holding their own, but they do seek the hero's help, which can be male or female depending on your class, as they are being overrun by their corrupted sisters. The first mini-boss is a callback to one of the main classes in Diablo 1. Then we have the Countess, which is a really clever historical reference to Elizabeth Bathory, or one of the most prolific female serial killers of all time. Now, this fits the world perfectly.
I think it was, I don't know how much actual historical evidence there is, but I believe that she was the woman who would bathe in the blood of virgins in order to retain her youth and beauty.
And above all, it's just great for Act 1. Finally, you face my favorite boss in the game, Andariel, the Maiden of Anguish. I go back to Diablo 2 all the time because it feels like you're actually part of like a really dark and interesting story. None of it feels forced. The characters don't appear to have been added for the sake of any quotas or checked boxes, and it's all very natural and organic. I know in the past there were of course games that had, say, over-the-top depictions with female characters, and an example that is often brought up is Mortal Kombat 9. But the thing about this is, everything in Mortal Kombat was historically over the top. Like, we're talking literally pulling someone's spine out or feeding their spleen back to them. I don't know, I made that one up, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was real. Like, a whole rating system had to be created because of these games. So,
and
really,
Night Trap.
I don't know if I would see it as like a valid complaint. Like, it's there,
Boys. Would you? Personally? Too many teeth. But would you? Don't lie to me now.
Get it, but also, it is what it is. However, in the modern industry, we're sort of going in the complete opposite direction, and it's honestly doing more harm than good. Truthfully, and this is coming from a female gamer who is supposedly the audience for these new games, I would much rather watch paint dry than pay for this shit. Or level a warrior to 60 in WoW Classic, which is effectively the same thing. The main content on my channel has been centered around Elder...
Hey. Listen. Leveling a warrior in Classic is not like watching paint dry. It's more like watching paint dry and then getting punched in the face and then needing to watch paint dry again. So, she's not wrong. Also, what the hell? Looks like a peanut.
Scrolls games, mainly Morrowind and...
Oh, damn! She only had 38.4k subscribers at the time. She's up to 173 now. Good for her. Hell yeah.
Oblivion, which are both almost 2 decades old. And in 2024, I was able to grow a channel from 0 to where we are now, because I am not the only person who is so stuck on these old games. I've gone over my personal feelings and reasons why I feel like modern gaming has just forgotten about people like me, in the name of supposedly including me more, but different people have different reasons for sticking to the beloved classics. A recent controversy, which most of you have probably heard of, was the showcase of an Assassin's Creed game that is based in Japan. We have Japanese gamers coming out and saying that they don't get it. It's offensive. There's a petition out there to cancel the release of this game in Japan. And why? Because the game's protagonist is a foreigner that gets to whoop Japanese people up and down the block. Tell me why, in Assassin's Creed 2, we have an Italian protagonist in Italy. We have a Native American guy in America in Assassin's Creed 3. We have a French protagonist in France. Why could we not have a Japanese protagonist in Japan? Japanese gamers don't relate to this at all, and some of them have even highlighted other inaccuracies in the game which are disrespectful to their culture.
If you had told me, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, right? There was one day going to be an Assassin's Creed set in feudal Japan, I would have lost my shit. What a concept. What a peak setting. What an amazing opportunity. How do you fumble? How do you fumble that? It's like you're an NFL team at 4th and goal against a peewee football team, and you somehow fumble into a turnover and you get scored on by a bunch of 9-year-olds. How does this happen?
In their country shows a huge lack of research from the developer side, but I guess their opinion doesn't matter because probably a straight man told them to think that way. I feel like it's a real shame that there's this awkwardness, or it can be seen as controversial to express these opinions, because if we're not going to get to talk about this, we are forever going to continue having this huge rift between gamers and developers, many failed projects in the future, lots of people losing their jobs over. And
it's still happening. Look at what happened with the ZeniMax layoffs recently.
I'm at a point where I don't know if I even want them to go there anymore, because by today's
it's gonna blow.
standards,
I'm sorry.
So much that could go wrong. A few months ago, I came.
If you still have any hope left in your heart for Elder Scrolls 6 to be any good, my boy, I'm sorry, but you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. I feel for you. I feel for you. I do, and I admire your optimism and your perseverance in your belief that you're gonna get something good out of that. It's been 8 years since they announced it, and apparently they're like basically only just getting started, so the only hope that you have is that they have basically been doing jack and shit for the past like decade, pretty much, as far as Elder Scrolls 6 is concerned, and that they're only just now starting after the cultural turn, and that the ZeniMax layoffs are illustrative of that. I wouldn't hold your breath. We'll see, but I mean, look, the track record's not good. I don't know if Todd can do it. Not this time.
I came across this really spicy hot take that said this.
Skyrim, the game by Bethesda, is a pro-colonization narrative and is racist.
Now,
What are we doing? What? I'm gonna let Angelika field this one. I'm gonna crash out.
I did a full response to that video on my TikTok account when it came out, so I will leave it in the description of this video if you want to see that, but in short, I said the depiction does not equal endorsement. I'm seeing that we're starting to have a real problem with media literacy. Like, it's non-existent.
Big time.
Just because a particular topic is discussed in any piece of media, it is suddenly endorsed, it is shown as a good thing, according to these people. This girl gave many examples of depictions of racism in Skyrim, like where you can see the Nords ganging up on a dark elf in Windhelm and harassing her, referring to her race as the Greyskins, which is an attempt at a slur. But lest we forget,
that's not painted as like a positive thing, though.
Morrowind are not too fond of Outlanders themselves, or Enwas, as they call them. You see, Skyrim is an already incredibly diluted game when it comes to heavy and difficult topics compared to its predecessors. Like, I'm pretty sure that regardless of your race in the game, you may see slight dialogue differences, but you'll still have equal opportunities for progression throughout the game. It doesn't really change your journey much, whereas in Morrowind, based on your race, you'll actually have a different disposition with different races. So I guess you can call that racism built into the game, but it's just a realistic depiction of how different peoples would react to Outlanders in their homeland. Not only that, Morrowind deals with the very heavy topic of slavery. The player, while having the option to free slaves, can just as easily not help, and in some cases make things worse. In Skyrim, there really isn't an action that you can take that compares to that. In fact, the way in which these racist encounters are presented are meant to make you feel sorry for the person being harassed and not the other way around. Though if Skyrim, as I've said, is already a more diluted version of events and is still causing such a stir with these people, what can we expect from the next installment of the album?
Do you honestly think that that TikTok girl has ever played Morrowind in her life? Do you think she could even tell you the name of any of the other Elder Scrolls games aside from Skyrim and maybe Oblivion? I'd probably give her a gimme for Oblivion. Do you think that she could tell you that? No. No. No way.
Elder Scrolls, because unfortunately these are the kind of people that are being listened to. Should we expect anything? Aren't we better off just replaying Oblivion for the billionth time instead of expecting like a complex and interesting story to come out of the next game? I'm also worried about the incessant attempts at monetization after you've already purchased a game, or if you're paying some sort of subscription. How are they going to implement their store into the game? I don't know about anyone else, but when I go into a game and I scroll to a page in the title screen where I'm seeing euro signs everywhere, it just takes me out of it. Not to mention how...
I mean, if I saw euro signs everywhere, I'd be pretty taken out of it too, but only because, you know, what the hell is a euro?
Some companies just take it way too far, like Blizzard's greed in adding the level 60 boost to TBC Classic ruined TBC for me and for many others. Now, I know Elder Scrolls 6 isn't going to be an MMO, but they will likely try to continue monetizing the game long after you've purchased it, and I don't mean overpriced deals.
Actually, speaking of which, how is the Elder Scrolls Online faring these days? Anybody know? I kind of feel like I don't hear about it anymore.
DLC. If the next Elder Scrolls game is just gonna give our beloved franchise a bad name, honestly, I'd rather not have it at all. Keep it a mystery and I'll just keep playing my old games. And that's it. This is me coming back after 2 months with my boomer takes. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do apologize for being gone for so long.
We're all boomers here now.
But I'm hopefully here to stay right now. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, leave me a like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. Be seeing you. Bye.
Based video, based take, incredibly true across the board. I do have a lot to say on this topic, as you could probably tell by the fact that I wouldn't shut up about it throughout the length of that video there, but I think
there's a way to diminish the
Let's get a nice scenic freeze frame. Yeah, there we go. So I won't harp on it too long. I've already been recording for over half an hour off of a 13-minute video. I think by percentage that might be a new yap record for the channel. And I'm only just starting out. Oh boy. Modern writers are incapable of proper nuance, because to them, the only nuance that exists in their minds, because they are midwits, is subversion and moral inversion. Their idea of nuance is making a complex, sympathetic villain and then not meting out justice to that villain at the end of the narrative, thus robbing the story of an actual meaningful conclusion that you can feel satisfied, vindicated, and closure from. And there was another point that I was going to make, but I don't remember what it was. Okay, yeah, like for Morrowind, with what Angelika was saying about how different races, like depending on the race of your player, you are treated differently by different races in that game. And slavery is a topic that is touched on, right? When people say, keep politics out of my games, keep like race and gender stuff out of my games, right? Some people do mean that very broadly, just none of it, keep it out, whatever. Personally, I don't mind that kind of stuff, but on two conditions. One, it is very specifically and mindfully structured and tailored and written to be contained in the universe's meta-narrative, right? Like, it is the political situation inside of that world and how it impacts the player or doesn't. You know, you just pass it by and you see it operating in the world around you. And two, it's not a goddamn allegory. I am so sick. And that's the thing. I'm not Tolkien. I don't despise allegory. I think allegory has a place in narratives. And I can understand why it gets utilized, because then you're basically taking this fantastical narrative and you are softly putting it through a filter that the human audience on Earth in the modern day can filter through their own lens of their understanding of their real existence, and it basically transfers that understanding into the game and world narrative. You feel me? But that's when allegory is subtle and finely crafted, and if you choose not to engage, you know, on a higher intellectual level with it, it can kind of pass you by. And you can just go about the game and you don't feel like you're getting lectured. You don't feel like you're getting an allegory delivered to you. It's there if you want to engage with it, and it essentially acts as a bridging mechanism for your real world understanding and how that relates to the game world and its narrative. But these days, the millennial theater kid buffoons who are writing for games these days, and this isn't purely, like, modern gaming does not only have a writing problem. There is a lot of factors, but this is something that Angelika touched on, so it's like it's in the front of my mind. Their idea of allegory is basically like, I mean, we all know, right? Look at Homelander in The Boys. God bless Anthony Starr for doing what he did and trying to keep that separate. But like, what is his name? Kripke? Being like, yeah, he's Trump. He's Trump. Now, I don't give a shit what your feelings are about Trump. It's neither here nor there. It's not a political issue. It's the fact that it's like, I am not being shown this character with a subtle degree of allegory to where I can draw that line for myself. It is the showrunner's bias and preferred position and preferred politics standing on a rooftop with a bullhorn, shouting it at me to make sure that I understand. It's indelicate, it is mid-witted, it is obnoxious, and I can't stand it. Oh, I can't stand it. Anyway, before I go on yet another tear and make this video yet again even longer than it has to be, I'm gonna cut it short. So, why I only play old games, Angelikatosh, 173,000 subscribers, up from 30-something when this video was made. She still deserves more, in my humble onion. Go subscribe, go give the video a like, tell her I sent you. She won't know who the hell I am, but hey! That is it from me for now. Until next time.